Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. Final game of the Day 2 live stream from the National Championship Festival here at UBC. We have Ontario 3 against Saskatchewan in the men's U18 division. Should be a good game between these two sides. Happy to be sitting beside Mr. Doug Cross, bringing you live action here. It's been a good day all around, eh, Doug?
Yeah, I think, we got our legs under us yesterday, and it was a long day, 9 till, I think our last game went till 6 o'clock, so it'd be nice to finish up a little earlier, but some great rugby on day 2. And you can see some of the players slowing down and feeling the effects, and it'll be interesting to see what it'll be like on Sunday by the time you're playing finals rounds.
So I'll take you through the Saskatchewan starting line. Quinton Ryan, Lyndon Lehner, Cody Smith, Liam Graham, James Hill, Paul Petrich, Daniel Bryce, Kelly Strobel, William Jacqueline Watt, Garrett Pitter, Braden Goldstein, Brandon Baker, Spencer Wancaro, and Mark Herrick and Cole Pedrick. For Ontario, Vince Brady, Liam Burkwood, Jacob Denofrio, as we are underway, and that ball is knocked on right off the start by Ontario 3. So Saskatchewan with an early opportunity.
They're fired up to take on these Ontario guys, and I think most of the Western teams really target Ontario just from a national mentality point of view and everything else. You know, the perception is that Ontario is the center of the Canadian universe, and while we are the economic engine and lead in all areas, it's not always that way.
Please be advised that Doug is from Ontario, so that's what his opinion on the center of the universe. Being a West Coast boy myself from Victoria, a bit of a different idea on the way things work, but hey, different opinions as we get ready to keep moving here. We have ball being put in now by Saskatchewan. Now to the fly half. He's got options, goes out to his fullback. Catches it and chipping up over the top. He's got a bit of a room to move. Catches it himself. Good play there as Saskatchewan getting some territory now. Inside the 22. Now that ball is free. Popped out. The big forward taken in hard. And we have a penalty against Saskatchewan. Referee Nathan Abdelnour calling the Saskatchewan players were off their feet. So we'll have a penalty awarded to Ontario 3. That ball hits into touch. If you're just joining us, this is the final game of today. We've seen New Brunswick, BC, Quebec, Newfoundland, Ontario 1, BC 2, Ontario versus Manitoba. Lots of games here today. So we have a line out just on this near side being thrown in by Liam Burkwood, the hooker for Ontario 3, and the ball is up. Play moves on. Good tackle there by Lyndon Lehner. Spun out to the fly half now. To the inside center. Good pressure on defense by Brandon Bakar. Ontario 3 with the ball, nearing their 40. Both teams changing possession now. Ontario looks to still have the ball. And another penalty awarded to Ontario 3, and they slow things down. Thought about going with the quick tap, but are going to slow it down and hit touch.
So Saskatchewan, despite the fact that they may not have the numbers of players that an Ontario does, they certainly have some aggressive guys, some big guys that know how to lay the tackles in, and that's always going to count for something in these shortened games.
zeros on the board still between Saskatchewan, Ontario 3. So we'll have a line out at about the 50.
I had the pleasure of just meeting Norm Hadley for the first time, a former Canadian great, 6'7" second row, and he was, gosh, one of the first big Canadian forwards back in the 80s that really did well in England. He played for the London Wasps and was famously celebrated in the press over there for dealing with a criminal on the subway in London. As we get back to live action, we'll finish that story in a moment.
Ontario 3, got the man on the outside, good burst of speed, and great straight arm there by the number 14. Great, wow, what athleticism there by the number 14. That's Nick Carriere. Wow, he beat about 3 Saskatchewan players with a straight arm. What great athleticism there by the winger.
Saskatchewan will feel aggrieved. We're seeing the delayed feed, and you might have a forward pass coming up here. Well, I don't know. People were saying forward, and it didn't look that bad, but great finish by the speedy winger.
That type of athleticism is something that Rugby Canada's high-performance staff are really looking for. He created his own space by that straight arm and beat 2 more defenders, blinding down that left wing to score in good position for their kicker, which is number 12, Irving Casabon-Sosa.
Say that 3 times quickly.
I don't think so. So, still hot conditions here. Ontario 3 striking first. Pardon me, it's actually Mason Dingwall from the outside center position who is going to be taking this first shot at goal with the classic Johnny Wilkinson stance.
Actually, I had the pleasure of playing with Mason's dad in representative rugby in Eastern Ontario. He's from the Ottawa area, and gosh, if he's got any of his dad's DNA in him, people should be frightened of him because his dad sure was nuts on the rugby field. Going back a little bit before your time, my friend, back in the early 80s. So Kurt Dingwall, if you're listening, hope your son's just like you.
And high restart coming from Saskatchewan. That's 2 missed opportunities by Ontario off of the restart. They knocked on their first one, and exact same with this one. So 5-0 scoreline with the missed conversion. Saskatchewan down 1 try.
So it must have been a tired bunch of guys getting up this morning after the first day's competition and getting used to a new place to sleep in and everything. But you know, I think these guys, there's not a lot of horsing around at night. Everyone wants to get their sleep.
Yeah, this is a tough tournament. 5 games in 5 days in hot conditions for these young athletes. As we have a kick being put through by the Saskatchewan fly half, and it's picked up by Ontario 3. Now they're back on the offense, spinning it out wide.
Look at that reaction.
Just out of the reach. Wow. So that was a bit too hot to handle. They were trying to find the try scorer, Nick Carriere. So that's 2 times we've seen the this fly half for Saskatchewan go to the boot.
Sorry, folks, we had the score reversed there with Saskatchewan with an early 5-0 lead. That certainly wasn't the case. We've got it the other way around now. Thanks to the esports desk support team behind us.
Now, Saskatchewan. Now the fly half spinning it out to the fullback. Good pace on the left wing. Throwing it back in. Good set of hands there by Saskatchewan. And a big tackle by the Ontario player. See if we can get a number on him. That looked like it was number 1, Vince Brady, with a big tackle. But Saskatchewan still moving forward.
One thing I've noticed about this Ontario team is they just pick up on a mistake and boom, it's going the other way before the other team can even react.
Penalty awarded to Saskatchewan. So the boys in green and gold will kick it deep into Ontario 3 territory. And we'll have a line out just at the 22.
So it'll be Lugner doing the throw in here. I was watching him yesterday. He's a pretty good thrower. They don't have a lot of height in this Saskatchewan team, but I think they've got good lifters, so that makes up for that lack of height. and Ontario gets to that ball, but not before a knock on there. So it looks like it'll be a scrum for Saskatchewan. Yes, it was Ontario hand that got to that ball, and so they'll deal with that now. So waiting for these two teams to settle in to the front row.
Still in good position, Saskatchewan.
Now, quick offload by Ontario. Here's a chance. That's the outside center Dingwall, I think. No, that's Spencer, sorry, Mason Dingwall, and it was, yeah. And the Ontario attack is on again for his second try of the afternoon. It's Nick Carriere. And Ontario grabbing this game by the scruff of the neck and getting their second try of the afternoon. So that was a great movement started by Mason Dingwall. We've already been talking about him. He's going to take the kick, but he just had the presence of mind and looked around for his support and gave the offload at the right moment. And boom, just like that, Carriere in for his second try. Don't think for a second that selectors aren't licking their chops, especially in the sevens circle, looking at Carriere for his speed and his ability to, just get his opposition defender off balance with great footwork. So Dingwall will have a difficult kick here. It's actually set up good for a right-footed kicker here. Will he be able to make it come around? Oh, that's well struck. Look at that. It was almost too hard to tell. It was up so high over the posts, but the conversion is good.
So 12-0 here, Ontario 3 leading Saskatchewan. Some good pressure by Saskatchewan, then Ontario just picked up that ball and ran it down the field. It's always difficult when you have the point swing like that. And let's see if Saskatchewan can get some offense going here as they go with the restart. High ball taken.
Oh, that was nicely timed. Bad moment for that Ontario ball receiver as a bunch of Saskatchewan bodies came flying at him at the moment of contact.
So we will have a Saskatchewan ball once again inside Ontario 3 territory.
Sky-high line out there for Saskatchewan. Bit of a mess in the transfer, though.
Picked up now by Bryce, and he takes it in. Now, out on that left touch line. Brought back into contact. Saskatchewan getting the ball spun out now. Taken hard into contact by one of the forwards.
Oh, boy, should be a penalty there.
Playing the ball on the ground, so it was a good call there by Nathan Abdelnour. Not rolling away by the Ontario 3 player, but also playing the ball on the ground. So we will have, it's almost deja vu again, opportunity for Saskatchewan to either put the ball into touch or play it wide. So
I felt like that Ontario player was trying to get to the ball and didn't have it. And the Saskatchewan player rode his back there. Thought the penalty could almost go the other way in terms of playing the man without the ball.
So we are going to take a shot at goal here. Looks like it's going to be the number 10, Garrett Pitter, trying to get his team on the board.
You know what? I think that's a good decision. This game hasn't gotten away from Saskatchewan by any sense. And getting that three-pointer on the board could be valuable in the closing minutes of this game, just having that score on the board. So, if it was 30-0, we saw Manitoba in a one-sided game in women's action. They were down like 45-0, and they went for a penalty kick and didn't even get that. So here, if Saskatchewan can turn this into points, that'll be a start back.
That was a great kick there by Pitter. Had the distance, well struck. And so we have a 12-3 scoreline now. Ontario 3. That was a great hit there by the number 10.
So quick restart by Ontario here, maybe catch Saskatchewan napping. And late hit after the ball was kicked away. And argument can be made for a penalty there, and maybe so, I don't know. Kick up, that's the call, I think. Oh, no, I guess that was not releasing the player, but that was definitely a late tackle on the fullback back there for Saskatchewan.
So Ontario 3 trying to pull a quick move there against Saskatchewan to line up quickly and go with the restart, but Saskatchewan gets out of pressure, and now they're back in Ontario 3 territory. So the scoreline says 12-3, but I would be giving it, other than those two big runs by Ontario 3, I'm quite impressed with Saskatchewan's intensity in this first half.
I'll tell you, I've seen some red hair before, but Quentin Ryan would win a red hair contest every time. He is the front row for Saskatchewan, and he has got some hair going on there. That's great stuff.
Lyndon Laynor with the... Lugner, pardon me.
Yeah.
We're reading off of the handwriting of the team manager, so sometimes it's a little bit different than what we're reading. So as Ontario 3 boot the ball down the field, so it's going to be a race for the ball now. One of the Ontario players working, but the ball is being called back.
Wow, I was trying to pick up what that might have been.
Referee Nathan Abdelnour blowing the game back. It could have been, it looks like it was offside.
Someone in front of the ball, or well, no, it's still an Ontario penalty, or is it? No, it's a Saskatchewan penalty from the looks of it. So someone must have been in front of the ball, but this is a long penalty back. It's like a 70-meter swing from where that ball landed.
So it was offside.
My word, it's not often you see a ball come back that far behind the play.
Play moves on, so we have Saskatchewan ball here just outside the 22. Still lots of time left on the clock in this first half for first tally of the day for Saskatchewan. Good run now by Saskatchewan, trying to get on the front foot as they've got players going to the pick and go. Now scrum half popping it out. Sloppy play by Saskatchewan. And referee blowing it back down, calling a few Ontario 3 players over. Giving a word to the Ontario 3 captain. Looks like repeat infringements.
And it's a yellow card.
So we have one of the Ontario 3 players going off. So we'll see how this game, or this decision, affects the outcome, as one of the players, it looks like number 22, Connor Keys, will be out for 10 minutes.
He's a big player, and he knows he's got to sit down right away for that watch to start. And he'll get back on before this half is out, likely, because there's 13 minutes left in this game.
Good run there by the Saskatchewan player. Sorry to cut you off there, as we're about a few meters out now. Saskatchewan smelling that goal line, about 1 meter away. Can they retain possession? Good counter rucking by Ontario 3, and that ball is won. They look to just boot it out, and won't go the distance. Taken well there by the winger, and breaking down the left wing now. Saskatchewan looking to get their first try of the game, as they're putting on the pressure. Popped up now, one of the forwards taking it in. You could throw a blanket around, I think, about 10 of the Ontario 3 forward or players.
Saskatchewan playing with some intensity now. They know that having a man advantage is huge, and they do not want to waste it. If they don't come away with some points, they'll be very, very disappointed.
So referee blowing the advantage back for Saskatchewan. So we'll have Penalty, 5 meters out with the man advantage to Saskatchewan. It's likely they will...
Surprised they didn't go for the scrum, honestly.
Now they're looking to just muscle it over. Here it goes. One of the forwards gets wrapped up by about 4 Ontario 3 players. Now, that ball is lost, but says it went backwards. Play moves on. 2 players trying to dive on that ball.
Saskatchewan getting pushed backwards, retaining possession. They've lost some 12 meters here.
Then they've lost the ball as well. Looks like Ontario 3, yes, they have it, and a penalty awarded to Ontario 3. So Saskatchewan getting 1 meter out, but not able to convert with the man advantage. So this will relieve a lot of time.
Spinning it out wide now. They're looking to get down to the train tracks there, north and south.
And we have another one, or an Ontario 3 player down in the back of the field. So they're playing 15 on 13 right now, and Ontario 3 is still pressuring up the field. Down 2 players.
Look at their ability to just slice through the cover D and get that ball back. Very nice job by Ontario 3.
Now, with a chip over the top there by the fly half. Does it have the bounce? Yes,
boy.
It does. Well taken there by the winger. And does he have enough to dive over the line? And the try is awarded. And what a try there by...
scoring that try, according to some fans near us. Where do we see his name on there?
So scoring that try, we're just hearing it was Dakota Tovet who picked up that ball off of the kick from Reese Davies. And Ontario playing with 2 players down, scoring a try after Saskatchewan couldn't convert with one being 1 meter away. So that's the second time today that Ontario 3 has scored after Saskatchewan has missed a scoring opportunity deep in the opposite team's territory.
Yeah, that's got to crush the spirit a little bit. Saskatchewan definitely was looking like they had the ascendancy there for a moment, and then it goes the other way like that. That was a sparkling try, one for looking at time and again, and his dad just standing right nearby us, and I think you can tell he's a proud papa watching his boy cross the line like that. So the score stays at 17-3 with that missed conversion. So Saskatchewan still with the man advantage for another probably 5 minutes or so. But they'll have to kick possession away to Ontario 3, who still have a player down now. Nathan Abdenauer is going back to see, look, are you coming back? Are you having surgery back here? What's going on? And now that player coming back into play, and so it'll be 15 on 14. Now, are they making the change? No. Yes, they are. They're changing one player off there, but not the player that had been down injured for some minutes. So that's kind of a curious turn. The restart. A nice high kick. Oh, and Ontario struggling with the restart again. Saskatchewan pouring through in numbers, and they've come away with it. Now's the chance they've been looking for. The half break now. Oh, and the delayed pass. Was it too much of a delay? 2 Ontario players there gang tackling the Saskatchewan ball carrier. And now penalty against Saskatchewan. They'll have to retreat as the clock winds down to about 7 minutes left. That's a good touch-finding kick by Ontario. Great high jump on the restart. Now pounded through the line. Fly half for Ontario. Now kick and chase. Oh, that's going to bounce perfectly into his hands. Will he have the gas and the mustard to reach out and touch on? He does. What a try. Trying to pick up number 10 is Reese Davies. And has he scored, or there's some contention? He's getting some advice from the assistant referee, Nathan Abdenauer, who's a double movement potentially, but no, that's try scored. And
fantastic show of athleticism there by Reese Davies. He saw that there was nobody home and just popped it over the top, and he got one of those perfect highlight reel bounces, and he just kept powering his legs as he tried to get tackled and just reached out and put that ball down with downward pressure as we see the scoreline moving heavily in the favor of Ontario 3.
Well, Saskatchewan's got to wonder, what do we have to do here? That's 2 times they went down and really pressured and came away with nothing, and the ball goes the other way. And I mean, that was a monstrous kick, and it just bounced perfectly into his hands. And then the presence of mind to, you know, he had that one reach that he's allowed to do. 2, no good, but 1 reach, and he was fine as we watch Dingwall line up this conversion.
Hits it well, and conversion is made, so we have a 24-3 lead. Ontario 3 with still a man in the bin. They've scored 2 tries, being down 15-14 in players.
So, yeah, I think they'll be back to equal strength in about another minute or 2, but I don't even see, there's a 22, Connor Keys, getting up and ready to get back into this game, but he'll be getting the nod in a second.
Ontario 3 with the ball now, and just booted down the field.
It's Christian St. Louis, high bouncing ball for Saskatchewan.
Good run by one of the back 3 players for Saskatchewan at the 50 now. And the penalty not rolling away against Ontario, so Saskatchewan with an opportunity with a couple minutes left to stop and hit touch. Get deep inside the opposing territory.
It's a good touch-finding kick. So I don't, you know, the second row forwards for Ontario, you would have thought they would allow them to at least stay in the shade if you're getting a sin bin there. He's out in the blazing sun while the shade is actually for the other sin bin if there was one. Now some discussion going on here between the 2 captains and Dingwall and the hooker for Ontario, Liam Burkwood.
So not much time left in this first half. Ontario 3 with a 24-3 lead over Saskatchewan as the Prairie Boys look to get their first try of the game. Sloppy line-out win, but they've got the ball now. Spinning it out to one of the forwards, taking it in hard is the big man. That looks like it's number 4, Liam Graham, as he takes it hard into contact just outside the 22. Popping it up now is the scrum half. Using some speed down the left wing. Wild head of hair from one of those Saskatchewan players. This is another opportunity for Saskatchewan. Across the whitewash. Popping it from the number 9. Taking it back in is the fly half. That's Pitter. That ball, is it won by Ontario? Yes, it is. So Ontario 3 steal that ball. But the ball is blown dead.
Is that going to be halftime? No, we're bringing Connor Keys back on. He's high-stepping it, getting warmed up there, and it won't take much to get him back into fighting form there back on the field. He's a tall kid. He looks about 6'7", and you don't see that kind of height at the U18 level often. That's a big boy. So at halftime, we'll take a quick break in the action and reset. The stream will stay live. We'll just turn the sound off so don't hear our grocery orders and things like that. And we'll be back with live action, as I think the next stoppage will be halftime.
Another chip over the top there by the Saskatchewan fly half. And it's taken, looks like taken out the dead ball line.
Should be a 5-meter scrum. I would have thought that Ontario took that across. But Saskatchewan may be unlucky there, and they'll have to deal with the 22 dropout as they play a game of keep away before deciding that it's going to be Dingwall that'll take the dropout here. Well, it's a great restart.
Taken up now by the Saskatchewan player at about the 40. Scrum half. Out now. Taking it in hard. I think that was Daniel Bryce. Ball popping around now. Picked up by one of the Saskatchewan players going for a run. I believe that was O'Sullivan. Looks like an advantage playing to Saskatchewan. Play moves on. Pop back inside by the fly half. Saskatchewan looks like they have a couple of man advantage on the left side. See if they can use it. Popping it out. Good run now by Saskatchewan as they're in inside Ontario 3 territory. Trying to get one under their belts before the end of the first half. Saskatchewan hitting it up now. Playing a lot through the forwards.
Whoa, big tackles being put in there. Saskatchewan being denied. Ontario has a solution at every turn.
Throwing it out to the fly half. He loves that chip over the top, and it's been unsuccessful so far, and they dive over. So that's about the 4th or 5th time during this first half we've seen that option. Hasn't been successful so far.
I think that's halftime, isn't it? Got a player down as well, but I thought I heard...
Well, it's difficult for us because we've got 3 fields all within earshot, so we can hear what's going on in the other about 100 meters away.
So our unofficial time has run out, but there's been some stoppages. Oh, and nicely taken. High ball off that restart.
Good fake kick there by the fly half, but unfortunately that ball is called back for being a forward pass. So that was good. He's realized, I think, that he's kicked it a few times now to go with a fake kick, but just didn't work out. So with got to be getting close to halftime now. Ontario 3.
Oh,
putting the ball in the scrum half.
The scrum halves there.
Scrum halves are battling it out.
Oh, and look at that move by the number 8 from Ontario. Threw his hip out, did basically a hip check on the Saskatchewan scrum half, undetected by Abdenauer on the other side of the scrum.
Good pace there by the Ontario 3 players. He keeps rattling on. That's Daniel Bryce. He gains about 25 meters. And looks like we're going to be having another card as one of the Saskatchewan players getting a talking to by the referee.
Well, definitely these guys play near the edge, and that is a yellow card on this. Is that the scrum half going up or number 3? Okay, the front rower, Cody Smith.
Cody Smith was offside, not coming through the gate, and that it looks like he's going to be penalized for it. So another opportunity for Ontario to further their lead.
So definitely Nathan Abdenauer with a long watch here because we're not playing 40-minute halves, are we? I don't think so. But definitely at least 20, well, 30 minutes gone now.
Line out now for Ontario 3. Well taken. Wrapped up in the contact. scrum half now, trying to fling it out. That's Hartvich
Oh, that
to
looked
the
like a flat
15.
pass.
That could have been forward, but it was flat, and the play moves on.
I think that was Dingwall going in. We have the fullback on the outside still ready.
Just about 2 or 3 meters out, and we have a try. The Ontario 3 player just bowls over the line and gets it down. So with the man advantage, Ontario furthering the lead to 29-3.
That was Dingwall, I think, scored that one. And so that'll be his second of the day at least.
So we'll be bringing you live action all day tomorrow from the National Championship Festival, Day 3 here at UBC in beautiful Vancouver, British Columbia. If you are available, come down, check it out. $5 with proceeds going to national development programs and all of these young rugby players here. We also have an autograph session happening tomorrow with 2011 World Cup Beardo Adam Kleberger. I'm not sure many people will be able to recognize him, as he was a star during the last World Cup in New Zealand with that infamous beard.
He'll be giving away capsules of his beard hair to all the, just tiny little keepsakes. He's been keeping it under his pillow, but now tomorrow's the day to get rid of it.
Conversion attempt is good. So at the halftime whistle, we have a scoreline of 31-3, which, folks, is a little bit further than what the play has been. I've been impressed by Saskatchewan's. They've gotten down, I think, 3 or 4 times right near the goal line, but haven't been able to convert other than the one penalty by the fly half. So we'll see if in the second half they can get over that whitewash.
All right, so we're going to keep the stream flowing here, but turn the sound off. Doug Cross for Brian Kelly. We'll be back with more in just a few minutes. So back underway here at field number 1 at the Gerald McGavin Rugby Pavilion, where Ontario's enjoying a 31-3 lead here. And Saskatchewan, though, as Brian Kelly was pointing out, not doing anything too terribly wrong, making all the tackles, but while short-handed, Ontario scored 2 tries while they had Connor Keys in the sin bin. And now Saskatchewan has got a player cooling his heels. Is trying to pick up, trying to remember who that was that went out, but we'll get that number for you in a moment. It was for repeated infringements and offside situation. I think it was Cody Smith that went to the bin in the front row. And, Saskatchewan game for the rough stuff. I mean, not holding back physically, but Ontario just making the most of their opportunities as the ball goes to ground. And now we'll take the knock on, and Brian Kelly coming back in to offer the dulcet tones of his play-by-play. Maybe that was premature. He's a busy guy. It's like watching my teenage son at dinner making texts and phone calls. It's like, you're not even here, Brian. So it'll be scrum here. Number 10, Garrett Pitter is the actual scrum half, as opposed to the fly half that normally wears a 10 jersey. And that scrum crabbing around, but not before. Quick service from Pitter. Oh, that was a bit of a pass behind the player, but no problem with it, says Abdenauer. On the blast of the whistle, not rolling away from the tackle. Quickly taken by Saskatchewan. Oh, and the one-handed no-look pass gets to the hooker, Lyndon Lugner.
Excited to see the intensity of Saskatchewan in the second half. I'm sure the coach told him to stay focused and just try and keep your head down for that goal line. As that ball squirts free, we have an advantage, or pardon me, a penalty given to Saskatchewan.
Uh-oh. Well, Abdenauer even things up with another send-off. I think this is just a one-on-one discussion with the captain, hooker Liam Burkwood. But he's probably saying, next one, someone's going. Or are they looking for a victim here? No, still talking to Burkwood.
So Saskatchewan electing to go for the boot to try and further their points. So electing to take the kick will be Cole Pedrick.
No, I think he hit that long one in the first half, didn't he? That was a nice effort.
Yeah, it was in a similar spot to where he is now, so let's see how well he strikes it.
How superb is this Gerald McGavin Rugby Pavilion? How'd you like to have this as your home base if you're playing for UBC?
Yeah, it's a great spot. It's obviously brand new here, just right behind where they held the Olympics for hockey. Great facility here, lots of fields, and thousands of people here today covering all the games, all the parents, coaches, trainers, doctors, athletes. As we have the kick, it's up. Definitely has the distance, wow. And it is good. So another well-struck ball there by Pedrick, and so we have a score now, 31-6. So good first points go to Saskatchewan in this second half. So let's see if they can continue that.
This field was actually a parking lot during the Winter Olympics, and once the Olympics was over, the media center, it was a media center parking lot essentially, and it was repatriated as a rugby field as part of the great Wolfson field set up here.
And that ball is dropped off the restart. It's a bit of a sloppy play there by the Saskatchewan player. Had lots of time, but play moves on.
It'll be a scrum here for Ontario. See if they can get their scoreboard ticking over again.
Throwing it out now. Now it's Ontario 3's turn to go to the boot, and a good option by the Saskatchewan player. Nobody home to just chip over the top. Now we have number 17 for Ontario, Malik, spinning it out. Ontario's got 3 players out wide, but that ball is bobbled. Play went backwards, so play on.
Saskatchewan happy to put Ontario under some pressure as well. Don't forget, Saskatchewan playing shorthanded still with the prop Smith off for another few minutes.
Ontario 3 with numbers out wide. Can they use it? That ball popped out to the 12. Now, good straight arm there by Fraser Hill. Now Matthews taking it in, back to Hill. Ontario 3 with a big run there now by Richard Terrian. Scrum half, popping it out, spinning it out wide, but that ball is lost and picked up by Saskatchewan. Just inside their own 22, playing the advantage, and they elect to kick it. We'll see what type of bounce they get. Picked up by the Ontario 3 player. He spins it out wide in the tackle. Popping it off the deck. Nope, pardon me. Just recycling the ball. One now by Saskatchewan. And that ball is dropped. So both these teams just handing the ball back to each other.
Yeah, I mean, good to see Saskatchewan showing some intent there, and I think they believe they can catch Ontario napping a little bit with some of these kicks over the top. But if they're going to do that, they've got to be higher kicks, and they're going to have some support from the wings coming down, pinching in and trying to get that loose ball activity going on the back 3 of Ontario 3.
National Program Academy Manager Mike Shelley in the house tonight watching some of these young players. He was the head coach of our under-20 team that narrowly lost to a very strong Italian side in the finals of the Junior World Rugby Trophy in Chile recently. That's the pathway for a lot of these young players here, making it one day to represent Canada at the under-20 level and working towards playing for the CRC up to the ARC and then the national team. Lots of rugby if you're willing to put in the hard yards and really work for it as a high-performance athlete.
I've been involved with the sport at a number of levels, including Rugby Canada, and for years now, and I can't remember a better year than 2013 in terms of achievements by Canadian teams at all levels. It just really seems like all the long-term planning and high performance and all the people that have been brought in is really starting to make a difference.
Yeah, so we look at our success, under 20 women winning Nations Cup, our women, senior women playing in the Nations Cup final this weekend against England. Our under 20s finishing 5-1 with our only loss coming to Italy in the finals. Our men's 15s team defeating USA, Fiji, Tonga, and narrowly losing to Japan and Ireland. And our men's and women's sevens team having a fantastic turnout at the Rugby World Cup sevens.
Only one loss for the men there.
Yeah, that's a difficult spot for them. So they lose their first game to New Zealand, and because they had 24 teams instead of 16, they couldn't play for the Cup, which is what they were going for. So they finished with a 5-1 record, defeating some very solid teams: Scotland, Samoa, USA, Tonga, and as well as our women finishing second at the World Cup sevens, and we also had recently the Maple Leafs winning bronze at the World Games down in Colombia, and also the university games, our women winning bronze. So it's been a great year, and you know what? The other crazy part about this is we're nowhere near done. We've got this tournament now. We've got the CRC happening. We've got the ARC happening at in Langford at the Canadian Rugby Centre of Excellence, and then the Maori game on the 3rd of November, and then the November tour, which the dates will be announced soon. So lots of rugby still to play, and same with in this game here as Ontario 3 back in action, popping it out wide. 3 Ontario 3 players bringing it down that right wing. Getting wrapped up there is Christian St. Louis. Taken in now. I believe that was Thomas Saad. Ontario has numbers to the left. Saskatchewan stolen this. No, it's won by Ontario, and the spinning dive pass by the scrum half.
There are going to be some sore bodies on both sides of the line tonight. These guys have been leaving it all out on the field physically.
Good pace there by Ryan Hartvich as he takes it into contact. Ontario looking to further their lead.
Ontario wondered where the ball is, and then it came shooting out like a champagne cork. Not before penalty for not releasing the tackled player against Ontario here. Ontario 3 is going to have to retreat.
So we're about 12 minutes in this second half. Saskatchewan still trailing 31-6 as they hit touch. Still inside their own zone.
So Saskatchewan in their own end, but they want to win this line out and maybe get that ball down the field with a quick kick down one wing or the other and see if they can catch the back three off guard. But terrible. Oh, after the whistle, Saskatchewan player just crunching the Ontario ball carrier. And I mean, it was well after the whistle, so maybe some hard feelings out there. Nothing coming from Abdenauer, but I suppose once you've started the tackle, it's hard to pull up.
Good crowd here still on hand at UBC for this final game of the day.
See a lot of the Saskatchewan ladies team out there supporting their provincial colleagues.
Full scores, stats, and updates can be found at nationalfestivalrugby.com. It'll be interesting to see by the end of the day who's the scoring leaders are, and try counts and things like that, as Ontario 3 bringing it up now with a burst of speed. Numbers out wide. Now we've got two players, quick 2-on-1, and the try scorer from earlier trying to get a burst of speed as he gets taken down. That's Malik. Ontario 3 coming out with some pace now.
So folks, we'd like to be able to tell you what the schedule is going to be tomorrow, but there'll be some rejigging and because we're into some bowl rounds and things like that tomorrow, I believe.
As Ontario touchdown for another try and furthering their lead. Had one of the Ontario 3 supporters or coaches come up and just speak with me recently. And an interesting note about this game, I'm not sure if you're aware, but that we had a tragic incident earlier this year when a young girl from Ottawa, captain of her rugby team, suffered a head injury playing sport and unfortunately passed away. So all of these Ontario 3 players are in her honor and showing love and respect to her friends and her family, are wearing armbands that say her name and just a little bit of respect given towards her and her family. She was, as in all reports, was quite the athlete, quite the rugby player, and a leader on and off the field. So I was at the June 5th game in Ottawa, Canada's national senior men's team against Fiji, and we held a moment of silence and honored her family and friends. So it's a difficult situation.
Was quite a touching ceremony in Ottawa, and I think the family appreciated. They were still grieving quite heavily that night, and they sort of felt the collective hug of the rugby community.
We had Minister Bao Gasol also there, the National Federal Minister of State and Sport, so it's good to have him in recognition of the tragedy. So it's great of these Ontario 3 players to show their respect, as scoreline now 36-6 for Ontario 3 over Saskatchewan. So I'm still interested to see if Saskatchewan can get on the board from a try. That ball is bobbled by Ontario, but the play moves on. Now with a kick, and that will just sail into touch. So we'll have a line out.
Now don't forget, if you're on nationalfestivalrugby.com, you can find all of the videos from yesterday's action, today's action. Every video that we show live is archived, and you'll be able to see those games at your leisure. and already hearing, that they're quite the hot topic for players at the end of the day, watching them on their laptops and putting them on big screens and that to, just sort of relive what happened earlier in the day or do some scouting on an opposition team. And, talking about it earlier in the day, it's too bad we couldn't bring you all the action from 3 fields, but simply too much. But we decided, well, let's get it done on 1 field and see as many people as we can.
Taken into contact by Jacqueline Watt of Saskatchewan. Good movement here by the Prairie forwards as they're marching that ball up. Spun out wide now. Just shy of the 40-meter mark. And referee blowing it down one more time.
Looks like a card now.
So we've got another yellow card being handed out to Richard Terrian of Ontario, number 23. So he heads off for 10 minutes. So Saskatchewan, a prime opportunity here.
Only 11 minutes left in this game, so that will be more like 12. But yeah, can Saskatchewan do anything with this? Now, Pedrick certainly has been spot on with the boot, but with time wasting like this, a bunch of 3-pointers aren't going to get the job done.
Struck well. He's got the distance, but he has missed wide. So another missed opportunity by Saskatchewan. The score remains 36-6. Ontario still always rushing to bring that ball back up.
It's a good sign in a team that they're, even though they might be thinking of killing the clock, they're intent on playing more rugby. Oh, clanger of a mistake there.
So that ball is knocked on, but Ontario 3 picking it up inside Saskatchewan's territory now. Got numbers to the left, spinning it out. That's Roddy Freeman.
Very quick ball skills here by Ontario 3.
Good tackling there by the Saskatchewan player as Ontario are trying to get free on the outside. Both teams in contention for this ball. Now, the big prop for Ontario, Vince Brady, he takes it in. Ontario with numbers on the left side, spinning it out, breaking 1 tackle, 2 tackles on the far side. Inside, deep inside Saskatchewan territory now, only about 8 or 10 meters out. Just smelling for that goal line, and they dive over the line for another try. So Ontario 3 being able to capitalize once again with the 1 man in the sin bin. So make sure you head to store.rugbycanada.ca to check out all the official Rugby Canada merchandise on sale today. Lots of great, all the players are buying it. It's flying off the shelves, and you can obviously purchase online as well. Lots of great Rugby Canada kit. And we're also encouraging our fans to wear red at the upcoming Rugby World Cup qualifier on August 24th, Canada against USA at BMO Field. We're looking to pack the house with our new initiative called Red Nation in support of Canada's men's and women's rugby teams. Wear red, support red, and go Canada go, as we have the conversion attempt coming here. Not struck very well, and that one scores, but not in the right post. So I believe we still stay 41-6. Ontario 3 leading Saskatchewan. I'm hoping that Saskatchewan can get on the board with a try. They've been so close about 4 or 5 times.
You know, you talk about wearing red. Fans can go to rednationrugby.ca, register for all kinds of head-of-the-line perks and discounts and special price tickets. Big pounding hits being put in by Saskatchewan on that kickoff.
I think if I was the Ontario 3 coach, I'd have to be saying you're going to have to work on restarts, because I think half a dozen or close to 10 restarts have been dropped by their players. So I'm not sure if they're scared about getting tackled or just having trouble catching that ball, but too many knock-ons from the restarts.
It seems counterintuitive to have that problem when you're scoring that many tries, you're receiving that many kickoffs. Should be getting better at it. Should be the team that hasn't received a whole lot of kickoffs that should be all skittery. But yeah, I think that's partly the Saskatchewan players are just so fast up and willing to lay a big hit that they're thinking about that aspect.
One thing to note here, look at the depth of the fly half from Saskatchewan. That's a long spin pass, especially under pressure. But here we go, Saskatchewan inside the 40. Looking to break the gain line. Popped over the top, another kick by Saskatchewan. It's definitely in their playbooks. And Ontario 3 just booting it back out.
Good cover defense by Saskatchewan.
Good move there by the Saskatchewan winger as he breaks down the left line. That's number 11, Brandon Goldstein, with a couple of shimmies and shakes down the near touchline before get taken out of bounds.
Definitely had some moves going on there. That was good.
So Saskatchewan showing some flash and flair, trying to touch down for their first try of the game, down 41-6 here in the final game of day 2 of the National Championship Festival. Saskatchewan looking to win this lineout, to steal it.
Well, they've gotten their hand to it.
So let's see what they can do with it, about 6 meters out. Pop to the big forward, taking it in hard. Just maintain possession, keep recycling the ball. Don't do anything fancy, just win it.
I'm impressed with this Ryan Hartfitch, scrum half for Saskatchewan. You're right, he's got a real bullet pass.
That ball looks to have been lost. Picked up by Ontario 3, and they'll just boot it out. So another opportunity here for this winger who showed some pace before as he spins it back. Saskatchewan have numbers.
Oh, good support play there.
And pace on the outside. Saskatchewan trying to get around as they get to about the 22. Ontario trying to recycle their defense as the ball looks to be picked up.
I'll tell you, I think you can make the argument that Saskatchewan is the best of the rest in terms of, you know, the teams like Ontario and BC, but all the other provinces better watch out because Saskatchewan is a lot to deal with.
So a quick tap, moving on. Saskatchewan looking for this goal line, popping it out now. The forwards hammering it up. Good tackle by Ontario, but that ball squirts free, and we're coming back to an earlier penalty. The referee still with one player in the bin talking with another Ontario player. And he looks like to be reaching in his pocket again. And he is. Wow. Another yellow card being given out to number 21, Jeremy Salgo. Is that 2 players in the box? So we have a 15-13 advantage for Saskatchewan. And a penalty
there, I think,
about 10 meters out, so 15 meters out. This is prime opportunity for Saskatchewan. You know, they've missed about 3 or 4 opportunities so far. Here's their chance.
Late in the game, they want to score a try here, and they need to do something here.
Taken hard into contact. Now let's see what they can do.
There's no quitting these kids. They're still playing like it's the first 5 minutes.
Pop back inside, taken hard by Lyndon Legner. Now, spun out. And that ball looks to have been knocked on. So just giving away these opportunities. It's heartbreaking to see for Saskatchewan.
Yeah, you want to see them get a try, that's for sure. So confirmation that Josh Doherty scored the last Ontario try to take them up to 41-3 thanks to the Ontario dads. There's quite a contingency. Families, they're like deadheads following around the Jerry Garcia and the band, following their kids across the country. Little VW square back.
It's got some
across the
interesting
prairies.
analogies, Doug. So we have a scrum about 15 meters out from the Ontario line. The Ontario 3 put in. This is interesting with the Saskatchewan winger being up, so nobody home on this side. And that ball sails into touch.
So Nathan Abdenauer's watch will be running out of steam shortly, and this game will be in the books, and you'll have to check out the website, nationalfestivalrugby.com, to see what games, basically any games that'll be on Field 1. We'll put a complete viewing schedule up overnight, but you just tune in, and we'll let you know how it's going. Spin pass now. Oh, forward pass looked like there from Ontario, but they're still on the push here.
Good pace on there on the outside by the Ontario 3 player. Now they're sneaking down the blind. Good tackle, wrapped up and near out of bounds. Spinning it out. Now another high ball up into the air, taken well.
Or was it?
I think it was picked up by one team and then stolen by the other. So it's an Ontario 3 ball.
Boy, Ontario still looks interested to score some points here, despite being down 2 players. And don't forget, they scored a couple of times when they're shorthanded in the first half.
Ontario 3 calling for the ball out left. They want it. Now running it up. Looks like Plumpton with nearing the end of this game. Good intensity by both these teams, not letting up. These teams sure like going to the boot as they use that option. Kicked out by Saskatchewan, back up to the 40.
Good footwork there by number 20 for Ontario, Ryan Carroll. And will that be the game? Indication is we'll still have one more scrum. Nathan Abdenauer now working out in your office in Langford. And what's his role exactly? National referee?
He's the referee development manager. Mm-hmm. And yeah, he's based out of our Canadian Rugby Center of Excellence in Langford, BC. If you ever have an opportunity to come check it out, listeners, please do. It's a great facility devoted to the development of Canadian rugby, and that's where our centralized men's and women's athletes train on a daily basis.
We were just talking about how the West Hills Arena, or West Hills Stadium, is going to be expanded to some 5,000 seats, and in time for the ARC this fall. That's going to be exciting. If
you've never seen the ARC is Canada, USA, Uruguay, and Argentina, best of the domestic-based players. And they compete over 3 doubleheader game nights. They'll be back October 11th, 15th, and 18th. Tickets are available if you're interested at events.rugbycanada.ca. And 3 great doubleheader game nights. Now, on the far touchline, Ontario 3 still pressing. I think they still have 1 player in the bin. Ontario going for the boot one more time.
I have not seen 2 teams kick the ball around like this before. I mean, usually one has a taste for it, the other doesn't, but they're both content to just knock it around. Oh, good first step. That's by the fullback, Christian St. Louis.
That ball went backwards. Play moves on. Saskatchewan frantically trying to steal that, poach that ball.
Boy, Ontario did well to get that ball back. It looked like the player was going to be sealed off, but Dingwall, good fend off.
Still looking for one more try. Got to be nearing the end of this game. Ontario on the outside. They've got one extra guy. Can he get around? And he shows and goes. And we will have one more try in that left corner by Ontario 3 to bring it to 46-6 with the conversion coming. You got to think this is getting close to the end of the line here of day 2.
Thanks again to our camera person, Jillian, who's been stoically standing here and doing a great job, and she'll be back for more exciting rugby action if we haven't burned her to a crisp. She got the SPF 50 on her today. That's what I like about the afternoon, at least we get the shade. It's just the morning that tries to fry like an ant under a magnifying glass. Not that anyone does that, that's so cruel. Who would do that? That's twisted. Certainly not me when I was a child. Almost burning down the neighbor's house. Dark thoughts.
As we get back to the task at hand, one last conversion attempt nearing the end of this game. Definitely has the distance, but struck it left. So the referee not blowing his whistle, so we're going to have one more play here. Come on, Saskatchewan, score a try.
I can't. Is Nathan not tired? Okay, they're trying to get something going. That's gone 10 meters, and he's just stepped into touch.
Just barely into touch. And there you have it, is the final whistle. So there's one last little bit of excitement that wraps up this day. Saskatchewan falling 46-6 against Ontario 3 U18 Men's here at the National Championship Festival. My name is Brian Kelly alongside Doug Cross. It's been a great day of commentary, great day of rugby in the sun here in Vancouver, wrapping up festivities. That's it. That's all. We'll see you tomorrow.
Just remember, check online with the National Festival Rugby website. We'll be adding the links to all the archive videos so you can look at them from all the games today. You'll see the front page video player, but click for all videos, and there'll be a full drop down of thumbnails and everything describing all the games, and you'll be able to watch them at your leisure. Been great getting comments and help from the folks around here and from across the country. More rugby action tomorrow from Vancouver. Good night.